Namaskar, Sat Shri Akal, Salam, hello dosto. I'm your friend Alok Verma and once again I welcome you to your favorite YouTube financial education channel stockincome.in. stockincome.in पे आप सभी का स्वागत है दोस्तों। मेरा नाम आलोक है और आज मैं आपसे बात करने वाला हूँ इस साल की मतलब साल 2023 की। नया साल शुरू हो चुका है, एक्चुअली 2-3 हफ्ते बीत भी चुके हैं बट मार्केट कहीं हिली नहीं है। So I've prepared this video which is about my opinion, my analysis of how 2023 is going to look like, right? So 2023 में क्या होने वाला है मेरे हिसाब से, मेरे ओपिनियन से मैंने कुछ एनालिसिस किया है, कुछ प्रोजेक्शन किए हैं and I'm happy to share them with you, right? So let's go ahead. Market outlook 2023. So before we do that, let's have a quick look at what has happened in 2022. पिछले साल में क्या हुआ और हम मेन इंडाइसेस को देखते हैं। अगर इंडाइसेस की बात करें and I'm sure you can see my screen, ये इंडाइसेस बैंक निफ्टी has outperformed everyone else, right? More than 21% up. निफ्टी was rather muted, करीब 4%, वो भी पॉजिटिव ही रहा, right? और एक डेंजर साइन अगर हम बात करें, इसमें मैंने यूएस के इंडाइसेस भी इंक्लूड कर दिए हैं। नैस्डैक 33% डाउन फॉर लास्ट 1 ईयर, दैट इज ह्यूज। इंडेक्स का 33% गिरना इज ह्यूज एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट देयर आर डिबेट्स एंड डिस्कशंस कि यूएस रिसेशन में जा रहा है या शायद ऑलरेडी रिसेशन में है। डिफरेंट इकोनॉमिस्ट्स हैव डिफरेंट पॉइंट्स ऑफ व्यू, राइट, बट दैट इज द डेंजर साइन। और एक्चुअली नैस्डैक वी नो इज अ टेक हैवी इंडेक्स, तो टेक सेक्टर बहुत गिरा है पिछले साल में एंड उसकी वजह से नास्डैक में बहुत प्रेशर आया है। मिड कैप ऊपर रही है बट देन मिड कैप, इंडियन मिड कैप, बट देन लेसर देन निफ्टी। एंड स्मॉल कैप की बात करें, स्मॉल कैप भी काफ़ी नीचे रही, 13.8% डाउन वाज निफ्टी स्मॉल कैप। सो all in all, it seems it's the financial sector that seems to have performed. And if you look at the sectoral indices for India, it is very, very obvious. PSU banks, that has been a surprise package. I mean, they've always been well priced. There's no argument with that. But historically, they've hardly ever made money. But this year, last year gone by was different. PSU index went up more than 70%, close to 71%. Huge for any index to go up. And it has got some big names. ये कोई छोटे मोटे नाम नहीं है यहाँ पर, बहुत अच्छे अच्छे बड़े 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 बैंक्स हैं यहाँ पर और वो सब ऊपर गए हैं। उनकी वजह से अगर हम देखें, निफ्टी बैंक भी ऊपर है, निफ्टी जो है फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज भी ऊपर है। बट देन हाईएस्ट इंडेक्स गोइंग अप वाज 70.67% निफ्टी पीयूसी बैंक्स एंड लोएस्ट परफॉर्मर, मे बी यू गेस्ड इट राइट ऑलरेडी, निफ्टी आईटी 26% डाउन बट नॉट एज डाउन एज यूएस आईटी इंडाइसेस एंड स्टॉक्स, राइट। फार्मा भी नीचे गया है, रियलिटी मीडिया भी नीचे गया है, ऑटोज अच्छा रहा है, एफएमसीजी अच्छा रहा है और लार्जली तो बैंक्स अच्छे रहे। सो दिस इज व्हाट हैपेंड इन द ईयर दैट वेंट बाय। बात करते हैं आगे की कहानी, क्या हो सकता है, मेरा एनालिसिस, राइट। एंड बिफोर आई गो देयर, लेट मी जस्ट पुट अप दिस डिस्क्लेमर, दिस वीडियो इज ओनली फॉर एजुकेशनल पर्पसेस। आई एम नॉट अ रजिस्टर्ड सेबी एडवाइजर, राइट। सो आई डू माई ओन एनालिसिस और मैं आपसे शेयर करता हूँ अपना एनालिसिस, राइट, सो दैट इट कैन बेनिफिट मोर पीपल। एट द सेम टाइम, before making any investment decision, please do your analysis, consult a SEBI registered advisor because that is the right way to go about it. Nothing that I say should be taken as any investment advice, right? Let's move on. So overall trend क्या रहने वाला है मार्केट का, देखते हैं। See, अगर हम हिस्ट्री देखें तो Indian markets have given a positive return for last 7 years. That is huge. That is huge, right? So one would say कि अभी समय आ गया कि शायद नेगेटिव रिटर्न का ईयर होने वाला है, बट आई डू नॉट थिंक सो। आई एक्सपेक्ट द मार्केट्स टू मूव अप ड्यूरिंग द ईयर, राइट। फर्स्ट पार्ट आई बिलीव कुड बी लिटिल म्यूटेड, फर्स्ट हाफ ऑफ द ईयर कुड बी लिटिल स्लो, राइट, sideways to slightly positive, and second part could be very clearly positive, right? Why? Because India, all said and done, is the brightest spot amongst biggest economies. सारे वर्ल्ड पे प्रॉब्लम चल रहा है, यूएस पे प्रॉब्लम चल रहा है, चाइना हैज इट्स ओन सेट ऑफ इश्यूज, यूरोप इज स्ट्रगलिंग, राइट। इंडिया का सारे कंपनी के रिजल्ट अच्छे आ रहे हैं, सारे इंडिकेटर्स, इकोनॉमिक इंडिकेटर्स अच्छे आ रहे हैं, कंजम्पशन स्टोरी है, एंड देयर थिंग्स गोइंग फॉर इंडिया. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इज शिफ्टिंग टू इंडिया. चाइना वन पॉलिसी आपने सुना होगा, right? So a lot of people have shifting their manufacturing bases or making additional bases in India. India is now have become a big market, big manufacturer of mobile phones, for example, right? So India is a bright spot. So there is no reason that it should go down. Government is focusing a lot on manufacturing and enhancing exports. So Make in India, enhancing exports, defense manufacturing, right? All these are key drivers. And importantly, valuations, though not cheap. India actually traditionally has always been more expensive than most world markets, right? So valuation cheap तो नहीं है, but alarming नहीं है. In fact, mid cap, small cap की valuation तो अगर historical level से देखा जाए तो it is cheaper on a PE basis. Mid cap and small cap PE is less right now compared to their historical averages. And जो large caps and Sensex and Nifty की बात करें, historical average से थोड़ा सा ऊपर है, about 1%, 0.8% ऊपर, more than the historical averages, but not alarming, not alarming. अगर कहीं और growth नहीं मिल रही है तो पैसा यहीं आने वाला है, right? So I do believe that India is going to stay positive even for the 8th year in a row. But yes, the belief is that since we have recently outperformed significantly compared to most world markets, so we might be having a couple of muted months. कुछ महीने थोड़ा सा स्लो रह सकता है, राइट? आई एम नॉट सेइंग नेगेटिव, हो सकता है नेगेटिव भी चला जाए, बट देन ऑल इन ऑल फॉर द ईयर 2023 कैलेंडर ईयर, आई फील इंडिया शुड बी clearly positive. May not be hugely positive, but clearly positive. So good time to stay invested, I believe. Mid cap और small cap की बात करें तो I believe this is one area that is going to remain in focus, right? क्यों? पिछले 5-6 साल में India has performed, Indian market has outperformed most of the world markets, but then mid cap and small caps have not performed as much as the large cap. So there is a catching up to be done, right? Actually, COVID के दौरान large companies they still managed to cut costs in somewhere and still managed to do well. It's a mid cap and especially the small caps that took a lot of brunt. उनको सबसे ज़्यादा नुकसान mid cap, small cap को हुआ during COVID areas. And now COVID is behind us, growth is coming back. Government is promoting the industry with schemes like Mudra loans, Atmanirbhar Bharat, etc. Right? PLI schemes आ गई हैं. So mid cap, time for mid cap and small caps to wake up and do their act to perform. And another important data point, अगर हम total market capitalization देखें इंडिया का, historically mid cap and small cap have been around 12 to 13% of market cap. But as of now, mid cap का contribution to the whole market cap of the country is around 5.5%. That is half the historical values. So there is only one direction for mid cap and small cap to go to move, that is move up from this level. So I believe that is going to be the core focused area performing part of the market in the coming year, in the current year rather. Okay. But value stocks, I believe value stocks will have outperform the growth stocks because India has been outperforming. थोड़ा सा expensive तो है ही है, right? So and there is a bit of a gloom scenario across the world. The sentiment, global sentiment is a little down. So people in such scenarios, people would not want to take high risk. The risk it will be little more risk off trade, which means they will want to invest in companies that offer core value. So geopolitical tensions हैं, all these reasons are there. So people might want to invest in core values, and that is why the value stocks, right, will be more in focus. And as the year progresses, as the world hopefully these issues, geopolitical sentiments, Russia-Ukraine war, right, inflationary pressures, all these, as they begin to settle down, there will be a gradual shift towards growth stocks, right? तो पैसा शुरू में तो मेरे हिसाब से ग्रोथ वैल्यू स्टॉक्स में लगने वाला है, और धीरे धीरे जैसे ओवरऑल सिनेरियो इंप्रूव होगा तो पैसा शिफ्ट होगा ग्रोथ स्टॉक्स की तरफ, राइट? सो and before I go forward, let me remind you friends, while we are talking on YouTube, we are also present on other social media like Instagram, like Twitter, by the name of stockincome.in. Do visit us there because हम वहाँ पर बहुत valuable inputs वहाँ भी हम regularly post करते हैं. On Insta we post regularly on a daily basis markets today and tomorrow, daily market का analysis post करते हैं, a lot of learnings go there, a lot of micro learnings go there. Similarly on YouTube and Twitter also we give a daily update. So I welcome you to join these channels, and I'm sure they'll make use for you. They'll be valuable for you. Okay, FII's inflow की बात करें, so last few years in the last many years बहुत कम ऐसे साल हुए हैं जब FIIs का इन्फ्लो नेगेटिव रहा हो, राइट? बट 2022 हैज बीन अ ईयर लाइक दैट. ह्यूज FII इनफ्लोज आउटफ्लोज, राइट? नेगेटिव आउटफ्लोज रहे हैं, नेगेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट रही है FIIs की. बट देन फैक्ट इज दैट इंडिया रिमेन्स अमंग द मोस्ट प्रोमिसिंग मार्केट्स, मोस्ट परफॉर्मिंग मार्केट. सो FII का पैसा अब कहाँ जाने वाला है, राइट? सो एंड ऑल्सो रुपी का हमने अगर देखा होगा रिसेंट days में, recent last few weeks में स्लाइड रुक गया है. Rupee was falling against the dollar, hence FIIs were withdrawing money and they prefer to withdraw money. But then अब rupee भी एक reasonable एक stability आ गई है. So there is a very good possibility that FII money will come back to India in the current year, and that will help our markets also get stable, get deeper and inch up. Okay. I'm sure आप वेट कर रहे होंगे सेक्टर्स की बात कब होगी, तो सेक्टर्स की बात भी करते हैं. माय ओपिनियन आई एम शेयरिंग अबाउट सेक्टर्स दैट आर लाइकली टू परफॉर्म, राइट? इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, फॉर टू रीजंस. देयर इज constant focus on infrastructure by this government and this election. Next year is election, so government is likely to put in more money in and complete the project so that they can showcase them as their achievements, right? So there is likely to be अभी budget आने वाला है कुछ दिनों में. Focus on infrastructure in this coming year and to complete the projects, right? So that is one key area. And defense, it's an ongoing focus, and it's every day we see this more and more statements coming in regarding manufacturing in the country. Focus on that, promoting that. In fact, I was just reading a report which says on 26th January, Republic Day Parade this year, only the Indian-made equipment, defense equipment shall be displayed. Now, I'm not very sure of it, but then that's what I read recently in the media. So, that itself shows कि कितना focus है government का in-house defense sector को promote करने के लिए, right? So, since government is promoting it big time, already defense stocks have moved up a lot, but I think there's much more juice in many of these areas. Do your analysis, maybe there's some value there. IT is some sector you can't keep out, you can't keep away. It falls in the category of growth sectors, but then अभी इसमें value भी आ गया. Why? Because we saw that IT index has fallen 26% in the last year. So there is value there now, and companies, IT is inevitable. Everything has to move up. Things are getting digitized. The world is getting digitized, and IT valuations are now much better than they were a few months back. In fact, it's not without reason कि आज अभी third week में Nifty is basically flat. Till yesterday, I was checking, Nifty was 0.2% up or something like that. Basically flat for current year. But then IT index is significantly up. If I'm right, around 6% up IT index. So that is showing up, right? Electronic manufacturing, especially semiconductors and EV, electronic vehicle related, those are the areas that there's a huge focus. Automobile sector is shifting towards that, and semiconductors, a lot of focus is being put in. So that is one area that can benefit, that can perform very well. And pharma. See, pharma has been an underperformer except for a brief period when during the COVID area times, pharma was performing. But then pharma has been a relative underperformer. Last year also it was underperformer. But I believe pharma, a lot of things have got sorted out in pharma. And pharma companies have, if you go back and analyze each of them, you'll get a sense that they've sorted out many of the issues that are plaguing the sector. There is a stability in the generics, pharma generics pricing, etc. in the US. So pharma is one sector that is likely to perform nice this year. It's not a kind of sector, it's not a very flashy sector, so as unlikely that it will just outperform everyone else, but decent outperformance compared to most of the sectors. So, and last is capital goods, again related to manufacturing. Government कहती है manufacture करो, make in India, आत्मनिर्भर भारत, डिफेंस खुद इक्विपमेंट मैन्युफैक्चर करो. वो सामान बनाने के लिए भी तो मशीनरी लगता है, राइट? यू नीड मशीनरी टू मेक गुड्स, सो दैट इज कॉल्ड कैपिटल गुड्स. So unless your capital, that's a core base, that's a base. So if you look any country that is focusing on manufacturing, producing in-house, exporting, has by default will have to focus on capital goods. So that is one important sector. It is a little bit of non-flashy sector, doesn't come in discussion so very often, but then there are companies and stocks around there, and this sector is likely to do. It's a quiet performer, but it is likely to perform very well this year, in my opinion, right? So, and let's also talk about inflation. What's happening with inflation? See, inflation has shown clear signs of peaking out, right? In India, very clearly, even in US and even in UK and Europe, right? More likely, more in UK. So there's a sign of peaking of inflation. US Fed is saying that they have covered a lot of ground, right? So they've increased rates. Inflation को counter करने के लिए आपको पता है inflation ने सबको तंग किया, high inflation levels. Historically 40 साल के हाईएस्ट लेवल्स यूएस ने यूके ने देखे हैं इन्फ्लेशन के इन द लास्ट फ्यू मंथ्स. उसको काउंटर करने के लिए इंटरेस्ट रेट्स बढ़ाए गए, इंडिया में भी, यूएस फेड ने भी, यूरोप में भी, यूके में भी, ऑल प्लेसेस, राइट. सो ऑफ लेट देयर आर वेरी क्लियर साइंस ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन हैविंग पीक्ड आउट. उसका हाइट जितना होना था हो चुका है, थोड़ा नीचे आना शुरू हो गया है, राइट. सो and I feel that's the way it is in India. Last 2 months inflation has been in the tolerance range for India also. So उसकी वजह से मुझे नहीं लगता कि RBI अब ज़्यादा इंटरेस्ट रेट बढ़ाने वाला है, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा एक बार और बढ़ाएंगे. Fed is also giving similar signals. So हमारे को क्या करना है? I believe it's a good time to invest in some good debt instruments because long term, because we can lock the long term gains, because इसके बाद अभी शायद इससे better return शायद debt instruments nahi de, and debt is an important part of our any investor's portfolio. So good time to lock in some long term returns using that debt instruments, because inflation is likely to not go up now, and because of that interest rates may also not inch up too much from here, right? Okay, so friends, that is my analysis for this year 2023. Again I reiterate, I believe that inflation will stay in control. Overall the trend would be positive, that's my belief, right? Mildly positive to positive, right? And things are likely to stay pretty much nice and good, right? Second half of the year could be better than the first half, right? But then it's they say money is not made by timing the markets, it's made by spending time in the market. So you can't really time now. Nobody has successfully consistently been able to time the markets. So it's a good idea to stay invested, right? If it dips, maybe it's a good idea. I am going to buy more. I don't know about you, but if it dips, I am only going to take it as a buying opportunity and buy more. So with that, I'll take leave from you, wishing each one of you a profitable and blessed 2023. Thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for your comments, your sharing, your liking, right? Keep doing that. That encourages us to do more. Thank you. Bye bye. Jai Hind.